You're welcome to today's class, and in today's class we want to talk about the last part of the brand strategy workshop, which is you knowing how to create brand touch points. Now let's go to the book itself. What is brand touch point? A lot of people don't understand this, and I think I once asked before on my WhatsApp on my WhatsApp status, that if somebody say logo, what kind of touch point is a logo? Because when they say touch point, what a lot of designers usually think about is business card, posters, letterhead. Start thinking about mock-ups to use that will relate to that brand. And I've seen a designer that make a video on that before. The designer said, a lot of you always use bus, a trailer for brands just because mock-up usually look good on them when they are not a delivery brand. Why are you using trailer? Why are you using this as a mock-up? That is going to talk about what to look out for in order for you to know the mock-up to choose for brand touch points. As much as that designer did a good job there, that is half job done. And in physics, I'm a physics teacher and a physics student. There is a question when you study photoelectricity. People always say that half bread is better than none. If you try it in photoelectricity, half bread is worse than none when you are dealing with photon. It's better you don't have it at all than you having it and it's not getting up to threshold frequency. It's dangerous. You don't want to have that. So half bread is worse than none in that case. The same thing goes to when you are acquiring knowledge. That's why I used to tell people that if you say you want to do free class, make it a detailed free class, not just half-baked, that you want to use as a base for people to come for master class. That will wound them more. Because in most cases from experience, master class don't usually tally with what they use as a bait in a free class. Most times it's always like this. And that's bad. The same thing goes to those who pick their knowledge from YouTube, those who pick their knowledge from Facebook, those who pick their knowledge from content on Instagram. They are all half-baked. And I know you and I did not have that time to get it completely. Now we want to look at what they call brand touch points holistically now. If you see that a designer is important to a particular brand, is because that designer understands what they call brand touch points. You must have heard it before that they need to call a designer to come and arrange how they are going to post in a picture. That's the posture that they need to use in a picture. A designer needs to interfere on how they are going to arrange them. Why is it like that? Because as simple as it is that they want to take a picture is part of the brand touch point. The logo that you create is a brand touch point, not the mock-up. The logo itself is a touch point. So what is a brand touch point, and what are the types of brand touch points that we have that you and I need to know and understand? And how we are going to look at it and how you can make it come to life. Let's look at it. We'll start from the definition of what they call touch points. What are brand touch points? When you hear the term touch points, we often think about tangible elements, things like what we can touch, like business cards, brand stationaries, packaging, and the likes. As much as all these things are important, brand touch point goes beyond the physical objects. So when you say brand touch point, it goes beyond the physical object. It encompasses the interaction of people with your brand. How they interact with your brand, how your brand interacts with them. For example, if somebody comes into your house, the way the room smell, the way it smell is part of brand touch point. Do you get where I'm coming from? Because when you enter into a store, the way that store will smell is a touch point. And I can tell you well, if you go elsewhere and you perceive that same odor, you remember that brand. Oh, this thing they smell like M&S. And that's how you're going to see it in different stores. They don't smell the same way. The way they smell is part of their touch point. The way they approach you when you come in is part of their touch point. Let me give you an instance. Oh my God. You might not be able to understand this if you are in Nigeria. I'm sorry. That's one of those things that I think we really need to work on. If you have seen Apple Store before, Apple Store, like their real office, and you see Microsoft real office, is a different brand touch point. When you enter inside Apple Store, you cannot tell the difference between customer and what? And workers. You cannot tell that this is a staff and this is a customer. Why? Because all their things are widely open for everybody to test. And they all dress casually. But when you get to Microsoft, you can actually tell the difference between what? The workers and the customer. That on its own is a brand touch point. So if you understand that, you're good to go. Are you getting where I'm coming from now? That's a brand touch point that many people don't get to see. Many people don't get to talk about. When you talk about brand touch point, that's a brand touch point. The way you approach your customers. When somebody comes into your DM and they want to talk to you, how you approach them is part of your touch points. Are you getting where I'm coming from now? So when it comes to brand touch points, it goes beyond the physical things. It also goes with what? Interactions. The intangible things that you think does not matter is part of the touch points. Just like in the last class, we talked about a sales girl, a salesman who, because in the last class, we are talking about the fact that there are some certain things that in branding and marketing, if you do them, they don't guarantee that you are going to make sales. However, if you don't do them, they guarantee that you are going to lose sales by not doing them. You need to understand this. One of it is brand touch point, because there are a lot of brand touch points that look quite silent but very much important, because the effects at which they affect your brand goes a long way. You've seen somebody that says, I want to go and buy food this place. I just like the way their fish usually smell. I just like the way the stew normally smell. They don't talk about the taste now. The taste is something, but the aroma is something else. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So as a designer, as a brand owner, you want to understand the different type of what? Touch points that we have. We have the physical touch points. When you talk about physical touch points, these are the tangible words, element of a brand, such as printing materials, packaging. These are things you can see, including the physical space of the shop. How do they build their shop? When you enter, what are the first things you are going to see? Why are those things there? How does their office space looks like? What's the color that they use to paint it? These are part of the touch point. So when you are designing for a brand, you want to go deeper into your branding to the point that you determine the way their chair should look. It's part of the touch point. I think yesterday I was listening to the creative, what's the name of this man? The creative advocate of the masses, I think, yeah. He was talking about wicked design. When he was talking about wicked design, all the thing he explained in that video, they are touch points to shape the experience of people whenever they come in contact with your brand. And one of the example he cited was when you go to nightclub and you see the stool that is in front of those people selling drink, that stool is never convenient for you to sit down. And it's built that way in order for you, it's not a podcast, it's an Instagram page. And I think he has an Instagram page and he also has a Facebook page. So when you sit on that chair, you cannot last longer on that chair because it's not convenient. It can even hardly take your yash to completely sit down on it. That means you not stay long once you collect whatever you collect so that you can go and sit in a place that is convenient. Are you getting it now? They do that to reduce the rate at which they need to tell customer to leave. Part of it is the shopping carts that we use at the early stage of this course. We said the shopping cart, you need some coin. You need to put coin inside it in order for you to carry it in some places. It's a brand touch point to force you to go and put the trolley back to where you pick it from. Because you have to get your coin back. Do you get where I'm coming from? And if you know you don't have coin, use your hand to pack it. Don't stress our customers, don't stress our staff to come and be picking cart up and down. These are touch points. You want, as a designer, you are designing for this particular brand. Don't stop on how their logo is going to look. Don't stop on their color. Go as far as how they should design their office space. Why their office space should look like this and like that. When you are doing this, when you hear that this person charge 50 billion for logo, 20, these are things that you don't give, that they give. These are things that they do that make them valued, not you. They partner with architecture depending on how big the project look like. They partner with architecture. Okay, let me give you an instance. Nexus is no longer existing. It is the brand that later become what was it called? The brand that later, in one way or the other, later become a partner with Disney and one other brand like that. I forgot the name of that brand. If I remember, I'll mention it. Is owned by Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is the owner of that brand. That was the brand he founded after he left Apple for the first time. Now, what I want to bring about this brand is that one of the things that he focused on when they are creating the logo is how the building itself is going to look. Because when Porand was describing how the logo is going to look, he was the one that is describing the logo for Porand. And Porand basically just had his own inputs that, okay, instead of it to just look like this, let's have it slant in this particular degree. And that was the first place where he made mention of, I'm not offering more than one logo option and you have to pay for it. When Steve was asking how many options is he going to give. So what am I saying in essence is that it doesn't just stop at the look of the logo, he also integrates down to the look of the building. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So Lisa Computer is, I don't want us to go into that history now because I think that's a lesson on its own. There's a couple of things that we might need to learn from that history of Lisa Computer, Apple 1, Apple 2, and all of those nonsense. There are a couple of lessons to pick there as a brand designer. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So we don't want to go into that, but we've picked what we really want here. What am I saying in essence is that they don't stop at just how their logo is going to look. They also look into how their building structure would look. And when Bill Gates also decided, like when he invited Bill Gates, because he wants you to see what he's doing, he's going to invite you in. When Bill Gates sees it, he was like, this is mad. However, what is more important is what is going on inside it. They know that Steve Jobs is not good in designing, programming, or all of those things. But when they say somebody is paying attention to details and can think, innovate, give it to him. They respect him for that. Simplicity is the king of it. But what we are saying in essence is for you to understand how much brand touch points is, like how important it is. So how your shop smells, the seating arrangement, all of those things are very important when it comes to brand touch points. So that's physical touch points, what people can see, what they can touch. Now we have digital touch points. When it comes to digital touch points, it requires your website, your app, your platforms, social media interaction, email signatures. All of these are digital touch points. So you are designing for this particular brand, you know they are going to need to go digitally. They will own a website, they will own a mobile app and the like. Give them the way it should look. When you present it the way it should look, when they know that they are going to create such next time, they want it to look like that because you said it should look like that. They can ask you, can you make it? And by then you are expanding the project. That's why you see that when they charge $2 million, $3 million for logo, it's not just a logo. They have created a lot of touch points that has made them outsource a lot of part of the project, but they just umbrella everything under the logo. So if you have present how their website should look, how their mobile app should look, how their email signature should look, if it's part of your presentation, when they want to make those things, they will consult you. And when they consult you, because you are a business, you already know somebody that can do that job for you perfectly, that you can outsource it to. You get where I'm coming from now? Those are digital touch points. You want to focus on that as well. So the first one, you might partner with interior designers. They know how to mix things together to give a particular fragrance. You might want to do that. Go and buy drink, go out there, go pick money from your pocket, buy Coke, buy different products, put all of them together, open them, they'll give different sound. They are all carbonated, but they will sound different way. That's acoustic coming into branding. So if you understand touch point, you know that it doesn't just stop at creating one and relax. You can be the one to oversee the entire thing, but you have to be more than just designer for you to oversee that. And that's why we are going to what? Sensory touch points. That's the third one. When you talk about the sensory touch points, we have what? Sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. That's 5 under sensory touch points alone. So when you talk about sight, your logo, it falls under what? Sensory touch points. Which one? Sight, because people have to see that. The visual identity, all the pattern, characters, and all of those ones, they are under sight. So that means the entire project that you are doing is just what? One out of. It's even a subheading. Shame on you. No. And you come outside Agba designer. You are not Agba anything. Because you see, out of all these things that a brand need, you are only doing one, not even complete one, subheading. Because that's a subheading, and because under sensory touch point, sight is just one. Sight is just one. You create color, you create logo, you create other visual identity. But Agba designer, you are not Agba anything because there's still more you can do. And that's why you are here. So we have sound. Sound has to do with ear. You and I know that today, if I put on, by the time I put on my TV now, and I switch to Netflix, you don't need anybody to tell you because you are blind, but you hear the sound, you don't say na Netflix. That's a touch point. all those things that give them experience of remembering your brand is a touch point. When conductor shout on you while the oga come out for road, I wish I get car. It's a touch point to remember a car. That stupid attitude makes you remember humble conductor. Touch point is beyond what you just think. It's not a sensory touch point now. Sound is part of it. Netflix, you know their sound. If I switch on a Nokia phone now, when Nokia built Android, does the tone change? When they did their own Android, does the tone change? It doesn't change. When you put it on, you know it's Nokia. You think it's just that logo that you see that they create that they are charging that huge amount for? No. Other things are there. Who designed the sound? Who said the sound should come that way? What are the things they look into? What are the factors that make... That is when you start being a designer, because you come up with all of those things. You help them to fuse those things. That's when you build a brand. Netflix sound is different from Prime own. If iPhone start ringing now, you know that it is iPhone. When Samsung make noise, you know that this is Samsung. Nothing that makes you differentiate all of those things other than what? Other than sound. That's a touch point. Ask yourself, does this brand that I'm working for, do they have anyhow or any way they can integrate sound into what they do? These are the holistic things that you want to look into. You know, okay, we need a sound designer for this particular project. Can you get us one? Now, this brand is an academic brand, and they focus on students that are dumb. And those students, not that they are dumb only, they cannot see as well. We want you to design a smell that will make them understand that they are in the classroom now. See, you are designing for deaf and dumb school, and you want the student to always know that they are in school now. They cannot see, they cannot hear, but they are coming to school. How would they? Aga, they can smell. That means this brand, we need to design a custom smell for this brand. So that whenever they come into the environment, they know they are in school environment already, without anybody telling them. This is how designers think. No be to go on social media, they drag, say which logo fine pass. You don't need all of those things. Those are not the conversation you want to have. Because what is designed goes beyond those conversations. So let's go on. That's for sound. We have what? We have smell. We've talked about that as well. You are designing for a baking okay, we have La Bake here. It's a baking brand. You want their recipe to be different from every other person's own. This is how normal cake usually smell, but this is how La Bake own will smell. It's something to differentiate them from others. Meat pie normally smell like this. How can we make the meat pie smell like this? We'll put ginger. You see how? You just have to consider what to do to make it a signature for this brand. And you can trademark all of those things. All those touch points, you can trademark them as long as it is yours. Nobody will have it. Guess where I bought this thing from? Man, smell am. La Bake. La Bake. You see how they smell? That's it. That's when you've worked. They didn't see their logo. Their name is not on it. Oh, the person that is answering this question is blind, bro. But just by smelling it, you know it's from this particular brand. Are you not talking to those people too? That's touch point for you. That's the job of touch point. Logo is just for people that have eye. If you don't have eye, how can you still know that this brand exists? Because the target audience can have eye when the brand started. What if they lost their sight after the brand started? How will they know that I see the brand? You can make them know from other sensories. The sound, the smell. You can make them know from there. So, right on. Then we have touch. The texture of your product or your package. I bought two, what was it called recently? Because the frame of my the glasses I was using before, my daughter broke the frame, so I'm still looking for a frame for that. So I decided to order for other ones. This was the first one that I ordered, but immediately I saw this carton, I know say no be glass, so I feel weird. Why? Because of the way the carton looks. I know say wetin dey inside no be premium. I'm not judging by price, but just by the packaging, I know that what is inside is for kids, not for me. Now, when I got this, you see how? First open this one, bam, you see how? Now, remove this, drop it. Now, before you can now see where the glass actually stands, you see how they say, you can't open it like the sound go also go tell you that, oh, this is something. Then you now remove this before you can now reach where the glass lies. What am I saying in essence? The way the texture looks tells you a lot about the brand, not just the glasses itself or what have you, but the texture make me know that, okay, this is going to be better than that previous one. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So that's the job of you. That's your job rather. You don't just want to be the one putting colors to. Don't decide for people that have eye only. If you're a brand designer, you talk to the deaf, you talk to the dumb, you talk to the not deaf, not deaf. The one that can see, you talk to them. And how do you do that? Through the touch points that you create. What about the taste? For food, beverages, brands, this is the most direct sensory experience. You just need to get this book. Get it, read it. It's going to help you. Then we go to the next one. You see, that's the third type of what? Third type of touch point. So the last one that I mentioned in this book is behavioral and experimental touch points. Behavioral and what? Experimental touch points. So when it comes to this, it has to do with how you interact with your clients. When they come into your DM, how do you welcome them? When they ask about what you are selling, how do you welcome them? When they cannot pay your price, how do you talk to them? Yeah? So this is another one. This is a behavioral one now. It's different from what everybody will create. So here now, this is why you see that all those motivational speakers, all those business tycoon, business instructor, business coach and the likes, they create this kind of what? Touch point more. Customer service interaction, events, workshop, community initiative, person-to-person moments like meetings, presentations, all of those things are behavioral. Are you getting where I'm coming from now? So, learning how to do this for whatever brand you are branding for is very much important. And that's why when you are working on a branding project, you want to look at it in a very deep way so that you can create a lot of things that the brand need for them, and your job will never finish. Your job will never finish. That's why you see that those companies that specializes in creating logo, they remain in business even when their client is not creating logo every day. It's because of the touch points that they create. The touch point is what will make you remain in business. You'll be part of that payroll continuously. So please, let's get to understand that. I would like to just sit back, ask yourself, what are the touch points that your brand is going to need out of all these ones that we've mentioned? List them out. When you list them out, try to create them if you can create them. If you cannot create them, let it be part of what you are going to do. Do you get where I'm coming from now? And I pray God is going to help and assist us to achieve more than what we have achieved. This marked the end of this program, and our next, that is Fixacad next program, is basically going to be on brand storytelling workshop. How do you tell a story? How do you create a brand story? All of those things, you need to understand it for your brand. Although a lot of work that needs to be done there has been done in your brand strategy workshop, and that's the reason why that you're on that group that is on the Fix Up does not mean that you'll be part of the next workshop. The next workshop is going to mainly for those who has complete this particular course. So that means you afterwards present your certificate. And what are the things that will enable you to present your certificate is if you know that you take the course live like this, it's not like you watch the recording. Once you submit your Canva, you get your certificate. And for others that are watching the recording now, do well to go and watch it on the website. If you watch it on the website completely, you get automatic certificate from the website, but that will not enable you to join the group because it's obvious that you're not in the group yet. So when you submit your Canva alongside with your certificate, then we are going to add you to the storytelling workshop. It's also free. It's a 2 weeks class as well, and it's also going to be free. But we are going to give you enough time for you to submit your Canva. So, and the submission of Canva is going to end by next week Friday, by God's grace. So once you submit your Canva and you get your certificate, then you are ready to join the storytelling class. And the reason is because it's a continuous class. So if you don't finish one, there's no point coming for the next one. Do you get where I'm coming from now? There are a couple of things that you need to learn. We can't make everything free, obviously, but we try to give you the important ones that they are kind of key. Others are very important as well, but when there is important, there is importanter. So that's the one we are giving you for free. So other ones, the importanter also need them. However, if you have the importanter, you can get something done till you have the money to be able to purchase the ones that will now make everything reasonable when you take a complete course of design thinking. Design thinking is a master class, and it covers all these things that you need to know as a designer. Brand strategy, brand storytelling, sales, marketing, negotiation. It covers all of those things, and they are quite important. However, the next workshop, which is free, is going to be on brand storytelling. You know how to run the workshop, and you know how to come up with a story for product, for services. At every point in time, everybody have a story. Everybody have a story. You have a story, I have a story, but the way you will tell the story is what matters. The story you are going to tell to a kid that is going to laugh is going to be boring to an adult. So the way you talk, the way you tell the story, the content of the story, the person you tell the story to, the lesson of the story, why you tell the story, all of these things are part of the elements. But instead of listing the entire, we just structure it into 3 elements so that you not forget. Because when you get 8 elements of storytelling, you tend to forget them. But when it is just 3, you remember them as easy as possible. Trust me, if there's anything that God has blessed me with, I sabi teach. You no need to tell me. I know I be teacher. So by God's grace, if I will be the one to take the course, it's going to be well simplified. And any other person that is also going to take the course, it should be as well simplified as well. But what can qualify you to be in that class is for you to complete this one. So do well to make sure that you get your Canva done, everything, and that shows that you are ready to make a difference for yourself and for the community at large. Enough of people telling you to come and learn how to make 7 figures. Enough. Nobody wants to teach you all of those things. Those things doesn't exist. Somebody that makes 7 figure once and is saying he's a 7 figure designer, who tell you, bro? You know, be 7 figure, Coco. So don't worry, that's a talk for another day. So thank you so much for making this occasion a great one. I must say, on behalf of Fixacad, I appreciate every one of you for taking out your time to attend this workshop completely. I don't know how much I can thank you. And by God's grace, the book is going to be launched by 10th of March. For those who might have interest in buying them, you can get them on the website. I'm going to drop the link to pre-order it if you want to pre-order it. And by the time you pre-order it, that you're getting it for 50%. Yeah, you're getting it for 50% discount, and you immediately you pay for the pre-order, you get access to Fixacad brand strategy itself. You download it immediately, and by the time we launch on the 10th, you have access to the entire book itself and the workbook that comes alongside with it. And it also comes with a presentation slide. Should in case you want to have the workshop, how do you want to organize yourself? There is a slide for presentation that will guide you on how you can actually present your lecture in class. And you can also revisit this particular lecture and see how it looks like, because it should not make sense if you are reading slide to people you are running workshop to. It make it boring. And that's why you don't see me reading slide. I don't present slide when I go to present, because if I cannot remember it, it means it does not worth saying. If I cannot teach it without a slide, it means I've not understand it enough. So when you see slide, it's just for reference sake. It's not that I want to be saying what is inside it word for word. You can as well give us the thing and go and read now. Why do we hire you? So you don't want that to happen. You want to like consume the content in the book, understand the content very well, so that you'll be able to teach it, explain it in different way. If you wake me up and you say, Oga, how can I do this? If I talk like this, if you don't understand, I feel talk like this, until you shall understand, it could still be the same thing. It's because I understand it. Not because I wrote the book, but because I understand the content in the book. I might not remember the entire thing I put in the book again, but I understand the entire content in the book, and that's why I can teach it even without looking at the book. Do you get where I'm coming from? When I look at the book, it still did not make a difference. And that's what shows how expert you are. And people will not be sleeping in your presentation. Do you get where I'm coming from? So I pray God will help us. Read more books, take more classes, give more values, and the sky is just a starting point.